마지막으로 강은지 다크메럴 랩스 한국지사 대표님의 강연이 있겠습니다. 강은지 한국지사 DML 한국지사 대표님, 기후위기 시대 도시를 위한 시스템 전환이라는 주제로 오늘 드디어 마지막 강연해 주시겠습니다. 큰 박수 주세요.
Can you hear me? Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the last talk of the day. Today, I met great thought leader in this room, and I try to position myself as a designer who closely work with technology rather than on technology. I'm Eunji Kang, director of the Document Lab Korea. Document Lab is interdisciplinary practice-based studio working to create institution, infrastructure, and also instrument for a more equitable, caring, sustainable future. Let me start with where we are at, how we start again. In 2017, we started as a 5-person experiment in London, and we became 60-plus global team with expertise range from lawmaking to economic art and data science. We are working to prove divergence possibility to the pathway on this journey, a just civic transition. We believe that our climate crisis is a symptom of structural failure, a failure of economy constructed through the lens of a private good and asset, short-termism, and also willful ignorance of externalities and system cost. It also stems from outdated institutions and inadequate infrastructure incapable to deal with planetary scale of the challenges. We're taking these challenges through a civic economy. Economy is based on many-to-many relationships and also led by community like us in this room. We do that by thinking about the boundary of the civil society and also thinking about the creating new relationships between civic, market, public actor bodies. And also ultimately, we try to rethink about the meaning of the alternative theory of value. To make this real, we are co-building new class of civic infrastructure, exploring how ownership, legal system, governance, and accountancy and insurance might begin to change. This boring stuff, how we organize, contract, allocate, even govern our resources, that shape how we interact with the world around us. It is a technology and it is infrastructure that define our relationship, including individual, societal, even environmental norm. At Document Economy, we are prototyping place-based possibility, exploring this new economy that prioritizes horizontal civic capacity to retrofit whole city, and also leveraging nature-based solution as a platform for further change. Linking that, in the next 15 minutes, we will explore system demonstrators in the context of smart city and climate crisis. Let's zoom back and think about big theory again. So we live in the age of the complexity, uncertainty, and the chronic emergency. The compound impact of the climate and biodiversity crisis, alongside with many economical, societal impact, impose enormous challenges locally and globally. Responding to this change and emergency require changes across the whole societies. That means, firstly, we need to change our lifestyle in a city. For example, how we walk, how we move, how we eat, even heat our home. And also we know that technology alone won't enough to make meaningful that transition. All of that has to happen with urgency. Despite the multitude of global strategic goals and objectives, such as planetary boundaries and carbon neutrality, SDGs, but the change remains too slow. In order to meet the ambition, the global objective that requires transformational change, we need to address our innovation model and also certain limitations while we are operating currently. While programs support innovation that show the possibility of the future, that often remain as a beautiful exception, which means their delivery of innovation can run into the same pitfall as a previous attempt, like a policy innovation, especially under short-term pressure and political and also economical priorities. In other words, the net zero mission around electrification of everything tend to ignore demand-side issue. It may uncover and unlock deeper opportunities and needs. We also need to recognize the limitation of legitimacy, as solutions are often met with resistance due to lack of participation and public consensus. As a response, we are currently proposing new approaches called system demonstration. The opportunity is at all front of developing new methodology and also practice that allow the city to develop new generation of innovation, which focus on system and structure for successful technology deployment at scale. Let me just explain the system demonstration definition first here. System demonstration aims to orchestrate portfolio of connected innovation that use multiple levels, such as governance, policy, regulation, and behavioral change. These multiple levels are also multiscalar, ranging from product, services, platform, to institution and strategic narrative. They create pathway for transformation with multiple direct and indirect benefit. It also focuses on building the capacity and creating the product relationship, and also learning from place-based solution. So in other words, system demonstration to show, the purpose of system demonstration is to show how system can transform rather than prove a certain technical solution or specific solution only. The model got 4 building blocks. Just wanted to share with you a process how we can develop the methodology together. Firstly, you need to understand how current system work through the system mapping, stakeholder interview, and data analysis. I think that must be quite familiar with you in this room as well. Secondly, the process requires building the local coalition of partners across the whole ecosystem. It includes citizens and civil society, university, and also local anchor institutions as well. And thirdly, system demonstrators are, again, portfolio of connected innovations implemented in real-world context. Let's see the example of retrofit. The connected action includes the construction of low-carbon housing unit, and also regulatory and procurement changes that support the sustainable solution. On top of that, it also required the financial model for sharing the energy across your neighborhood. So you can see there's not one single solution. It is a connected innovation as a portfolio. And lastly, system demonstration recognized the process of mainstreaming is also part of what needs to be tested. Instead of adopting the rational mindset, better evidence always leads to better policy. The pathway to wider change require ongoing experimentations. So as you see, this whole process operates through non-linear manner, emphasizing continuous learning, almost like a revolutionary journey, rather than testing and then scaling in a linear manner. I skipped that slide. So currently at Dark Matter Lab, we are building real-life demonstration of civic infrastructure in the area of spatial justice and nature-based solution. I'm going to explore these two examples in this area in the next chapter. Let me have just the water first. Okay. The first example is trees as infrastructure. So trees as infrastructure is open source platform that value nature beyond carbon, establishing urban nature as a critical part of urban asset and infrastructure. In order to do that, Trees AI is developing the data-driven infrastructure for urban forest management and also highlight investment potential. Cities around the world pledging ambitious urban afforestation target. You know, for example, in South Korea, government announced last year planting new trees around almost over 3 billion new trees in the next 3 decades. But so far, we value trees as a cost rather than valuable asset. It is because we don't fully understand the environmental, social, and economic value contribution of tree in the urban setting due to the lack of understanding of the core benefit of urban nature. But in fact, if you think about trees, like an urban forest support and regenerate soil quality and reduce and manage the flood. And during the summer, reduce the heat island effect, and also offer food and shading to the communities, and also support urban biodiversity as well as managing energy usage during the summer. So you can see urban forest itself got a multiple benefit, not only the carbon. On top of this, we also recognized the lack of data qualities and standardized the natural capital accounting system and bureaucratic process for multi-party agreement and fundings are barrier to achieve this target properly. In Glasgow, in the UK, currently, Trees AI developing and working on GIS-based risk mapping that demonstrate overall urban environmental crisis. Especially Glasgow case, we are looking at the flooding effect mostly. On top of that, Trees AI, the platform itself, quantifying and measuring natural asset, the size of the natural asset, as a solution to the crisis. And also thirdly, the platform itself designed the system and the funding options and funding tool to help citizens, individual, government, and businesses take the part in urban forest, the portfolio management and investment through our combined mechanisms. So key to Trees AI is really simple and also powerful. The Trees AI designed a pathway from experiment on street scale of asset, literally micro asset on the street, and then ultimately transform the city scale into the A system. So the pathway is to test and demonstrate the possibility of the civic engagement and data governance and digital technology, and then expand it to the wider and entire city and beyond. So in addition to Glasgow, we are currently preparing to introduce Trees AI in other cities like Madrid, Montreal. Recently, we talked about this with the Daegu city, allowing city to be part of global network, to share their knowledge, experience in a time of the climate transition and building their strategies together. This is a second example, whole city retrofit. The purpose of the retrofit is to design system rather than design a particular solution. Design system for civic retrofit sector by empowering local community to take active role in urban transition. The system catalyzes collective action and regenerative form of investment in crime-improving home and neighborhood. Just wanted to share with you some background. In Edinburgh, we need to retrofit approximately 98,000 homes in order to meet city's target, net zero by 2030. But the current process got a lot of barriers, such as cost, inefficient skill set, and also complexity of the retrofitting work, because every house has different needs and different requirements. And also there is a lack of will and challenges owing to the rental property, their own market. Despite most people worrying about climate changes and extreme weather more and more, so far a tiny minority have a will and resources to take through. So as a response, we are currently proposing and designing an energy collective model for a scalable city-wide retrofit program in Edinburgh. In order to achieve this, we need to consider three considerations and key critical parts. Firstly, how to design the civic engagement processes, entire whole ecosystem. And secondly, how to make a compelling financial case at city scale. How can city can get benefit from this whole movement? And thirdly, how to identify spillover benefit from urban retrofit. So these approaches engage with a set of pilot neighborhood in Edinburgh. So currently, we are working with the site, where it should be the first place to roll out and test. And then that neighborhood to shape a program led by local communities to establish retrofit model at street level. Just to remember, this is street level first. These are from the participation workshop and event around understanding energy efficiency and also retrofitting work with local residents by leveraging their knowledges and their awareness. And secondly, having identified housing typologies, early adoption street, and the residents, the model, the work will be undertaken to access and monitor existing home through a participation project, almost like a citizen science project. So here you can see how the installation of smart meter and home sensor and energy assessment software can build a body of data around the ongoing performance of the home. And ultimately, it also providing aggregated energy improvement data for the city-scale investment strategies. This infrastructure can be also developed into a direct service offer as well to provide the funding options based on predictive energy performance and energy saving through outcome-based financing and perpetual bond. So these are the core KPI for the wider benefit of urban retrofit. The evidence base can go into the direct benefits such as energy saving, skilled job creation in local neighborhood, and the warmth and performance of the home. As well as we can looking at indirect benefit at city and street scale, looking at health outcome, and local activities rate at the city level, and recirculation of the capital from energy saving as well. Although the project and program will start with one or more neighborhoods, it will build the city-wide infrastructure that allow and support scalability and replication. Yes, successful system demonstration and implementation of the system demonstration in these two cities will require additional funding and partnership, including technology, infrastructure, and system level of innovation to ensure the depth and longevity of the impact, for sure. I'd like to close this talk with the last sentence with you all. I'd like to invite you to be in a movement, join us in the effort of demonstrate alternative system for an equitable, caring, sustainable future. Yeah, thank you.